back and forth and kind of vote on it. I have to give credit where credit is due. My girl Freya ASMR always does these videos. She does a lot of Reddit videos, but I think the first one that I ever saw reading from this thread was her. I have not watched any of her Reddit videos in a while, for no particular reason. I just haven't gotten around to it. So with that being said, if I pick the same like blurb as one that she has in her video, I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm not sure which ones she picked. So if I do end up reading like the exact same one, I do apologize. But I will leave the link to her channel down below if you guys want to check her out. If you like my videos, you'll definitely like hers. So go show her some love. I don't know why this is red right here. I must have just scratched myself. Ignore that. Okay. So let's just get on with it, shall we? So the first one says, am I the asshole for telling my wife not to talk to my dad, but I will continue to? So let's read. A month ago, my oldest turned 16. For his 16th birthday, the plan was to let him skip school, get to the DMV when it opens, take the driving test, go on a small road trip, be back around when school gets out, and then all go out for a family dinner. On the weekend would be a celebration with his friends. Skipping school for the DMV test was planned in advance, but the road trip was a surprise. A few days before the road trip, my wife asked me to take our 3-year-old with me that day. I said I wasn't taking a toddler to the DMV. That place is a cesspit. Also, the road trip is for additional driving practice before he's able to drive unsupervised. A toddler distracting him is not a good idea. My wife said she wanted the day to herself, and if I wasn't willing to take our toddler, the birthday stuff needs to be moved to the weekend so that I can. I said I would take our toddler to work with me the next day, but our oldest's birthday is his day, so he's the priority. She got angry and said she'd made 100 sacrifices for her kids, and saying she isn't a priority is disgusting. In parentheses it says, not what I said. It was a big fight. My son's birthday, she texted me that I'm an asshole multiple times. At the dinner, she was in a bad mood. After everyone ate, my dad asked us all to go out to the parking lot. He handed the keys to his car to my son, saying he was getting a new one. He also said he would continue to pay the insurance for a year. My wife asked me if I knew about this, and I didn't. She didn't believe me. My wife has called and texted my dad multiple times asking if he's going to do this for all of our kids, saying he shouldn't have done this without asking us first, and telling him if he can't do this for all the kids, he needs to take the car back. Eventually he told her to shut up and stop bothering him. My wife told me I need to stop talking to my dad. She said he used offensive language. He texted, "Stop bothering me, woman," which she says is sexist towards her, and I need to support her. I said she needs to stop talking to my dad, not me. I'll support her not talking to him. My wife said I am disrespecting her, that I won't listen when she says she needs help, and that my family treats her poorly. I think she is creating these situations herself. She looks for offense and then finds it. Am I the asshole? Oh, that's a lot. There's a lot happening there. So you guys let me know what you think. I personally think that the guy that wrote this was really just trying to do the right thing by his son, and it just kind of was blown out of proportion a little bit. Alright. I'm just picking random ones here. Ones that sound interesting. This one says, am I the asshole for telling my elderly neighbor off for spraying insect killer? A couple of years ago, we bought a house with a garden. Our elderly neighbor does not like change much, and we have had a few disagreements already about where we placed the kids' swing set, the flowers we're planting, the pets we're keeping, etc. We've tried to be accommodating where we could. I have a few food-related health issues and therefore grow some food myself because I need to eat a lot of fresh produce. Love that. My kids love the fresh fruit and berries too. When I was pregnant, I spent weeks on my knees digging up a garden bed on a formerly unused plot of land where my property borders on said neighbors. I planted non-invasive berry bushes. Since my neighbor is retired already, she watches me work, and we've talked about my plans and why I was doing it, and everything was fine. A couple of weeks later, I was inside, and movement outside made me look out the window. I saw her boyfriend with a huge garden spray canister spraying something unrecognizable on their hedge at the border between our properties. He doused them thoroughly, and a lot of the spray landed on my bushes. I waddled outside and confronted him about it. He tried to deny it and hid the canister. After more insistence on my part, he confessed to treating his bushes to some insecticide. He kept denying that my plants were hit, despite them only being 2 feet away, and despite me seeing him do it out the window. It took me 2 days of begging for my neighbor to show me the can so I could check what was used. I had it checked out by a doctor and a gardener. Turns out my produce could not be used for a whole year due to harmful ingredients. I told my neighbor off for poisoning the food my kids and me were planning on eating, and for doing it secretly. No telling what would have happened to the baby. It was a lucky coincidence that I happened to spot them doing it. Now she's bad-mouthing me in the neighborhood, and I was approached by people about being unreasonable. She can do what she wants in her garden, and I am too paranoid and sensitive. When they were kids, they ate food after it had been sprayed and nothing bad happened. Am I really the asshole here? What do you guys think? It definitely sounds like neighbors who just don't like change, and a lot sometimes older neighbors aren't a fan of the young neighbors, and yeah, that's awful. I'm gonna go with no. Okay, ooh, this one sounds juicy. This one says, am I the asshole for telling my sister she can't visit if she's going to make my husband uncomfortable? I hate that I'm throwing this on the internet for reassurance, but my whole family is angry at me, and I kind of feel like I unnecessarily... And I'm sorry. Oh, what? It says my whole family is angry at me, and I kind of feel like I unnecessarily flipped out. Okay, let's read. I am very close with my mom and sister. They visit and have dinner with us all the time. Our family is real touchy-feely. It's never made us uncomfortable, and it's just thought of as being friendly. My husband absolutely does not feel that way. For a few different reasons, he hates to be touched. It took halfway into our relationship before he really was comfortable with me touching him. He is incredibly sweet and loving. It's just things like that put him on edge. My sister is incapable of understanding this. Every time she comes over, she comes up behind him and scares him or grabs him in a big, unexpected hug. Yeah, that's disrespectful. Every conversation, she has a hand on his arm or something. This isn't abnormal for her, but he obviously hates it. Now, he doesn't like to say anything and tells me it doesn't bother him, but he visibly just about jumps out of his skin every time. It makes him not want to converse or be around us. She just kind of overwhelms him into standing in the back of the room in silence. I've brought it up to my sister several times how much he dislikes that. She laughs about how shy he is, says he'll get over it. We've been married for 4 years now. It reached the point where he just sits in our bedroom through the evenings when my family is here. Yesterday, I sent my sister a text that said she had to realize how uncomfortable she makes my husband every time she visits, and if she couldn't keep her hands to herself, I didn't want her coming over anymore. She immediately called me all worked up, saying she didn't mean to, and how she was just trying to be nice and make him feel like family. She got upset and hung up on me, and then my mom rings me about how immature we're both being and how we're making it a big deal over basic social friendliness. She even called me dirty-minded for saying that she was too much. They're so put out about it that I've just stopped responding to them. My husband feels terrible and thinks this stupid argument is all his fault, and everybody feels like crap. Should I just have left it alone? I still think I should have said something, but it feels like I just made everything worse. I think the wife is 100% in the right. I haven't been speaking about all of them, but this one I feel like I can confidently speak on. When you're in a when you're married, like that spouse, your spouse is your person. You are to stick up for them. You are to vouch for them when they don't feel comfortable doing so. And I think that that's all she did. And I think that her family is actually being very disrespectful in not acknowledging and respecting his boundaries. I think that's all it really comes down to. Like, if somebody doesn't like to be touched, especially if there are specific reasons why, we don't know what those reasons are, it's not our business, but just respect them. If it visibly makes him uncomfortable and it makes him jump every time you touch him, like, don't touch him. I don't know, I feel like it's not very complicated. But okay. Let's see. I'm looking for the ones that got like the most upvotes, because that means that they're popular. This one has over 4,000, so let's see. This one says, am I the asshole for pulling the cancer card to shame someone and drawing attention to myself at a party? Interesting. Alright, let's do it. 7 years ago, I had cervical cancer, which wreaked havoc on my life in a lot of ways. Perhaps stupidly, but I was more upset about losing my hair than I was my fertility, at least at first. I used to have long hair, rarely ever cut it, but shaved it during the course of chemo. Even after treatment, after remission, I found that I felt empowered by my new hairstyle, mostly what it meant to me, and I kept it short. Recently, I've been diagnosed with vaginal cancer. Thankfully, we got it early, so hopes are high, but I won't lie that I'm not upset that this is happening to me again. This upset has led me to be touchy. That's supposed to say touchy. I don't know. I've never heard that word, touchy. Alright. But, I mean, regardless, makes sense to be upset by that. My brother and his new girlfriend and newborn flew in for a visit for the first time since the baby was born. This is the first time in years we've seen him, except for video calls, because they're out of the country now. She's a sweetheart, but kind of blunt. Over the course of the party, she pointed out that my haircut made my face look round, but that's the chemo causing fluid to build up. She asked me multiple times if I was sure I didn't want to drink, mostly because she was also getting herself one. She also said I was very confident to avoid wearing jewelry with such short hair. Again, she is a little lacking in social mores, but still, she's very genuine in what she says. I just got sick of answering questions about my lack of alcohol, about my haircut, about my face, so I snapped. Admittedly, after she commented about my hair again, I said, I have cancer, very bluntly and too loudly. Many people overheard, which caused many eyes to turn onto us during a party that was meant for my brother and his girlfriend. My brother took me aside after everyone had left the house and his girlfriend was in the car. He said that I made a scene. He expressed his sympathy that I was dealing with cancer again, but he said that he wished I chose a better time to reveal it because it took away from his and his family's announcements. Ew. I'm gonna say, no, not an asshole. I probably would have done something like that, especially if you're being pushed and yeah, no. I probably would have done something very, very similar, so I'm gonna go with no. Alright. This one sounds funny. Am I the asshole for taking the last donut even though a kid wanted it on their birthday? Okay. I, female, 20, have had a really rough week. I've been yelled at by my family, broken up with, and gotten bad grades on a few assignments. Due to that, my tolerance for stuff is a little less high than usual. To cheer myself up, I decided to go to Tim Hortons. It's like a coffee shop in Canada. I decided to go to Tim Hortons and get a chocolate coconut donut. The store I was at only had one left, as they are popular, and when I was ordering, a middle-aged woman asked me politely, "It's my daughter's birthday today. She's turning 14, and she really wanted it. Is there any chance that I could get it? We've been going through rough times, and it would make her day." I then told her, "I understand, ma'am, and I'd be okay with cutting her half of the donut because I really have also been looking forward to it." She then said, "It's a cheap thing to do to only give half a donut. You're so stuck up." Can you really not suck it up and just let me have the donut? She's really looking forward to it. I then snapped and said, look, lady, I've tried to be polite to you, but I want that donut, and I've also had a really crappy week. You should have gotten here earlier. The rest of the people in line sighed at me and looked angry. She then called me selfish and said she was a single mom, so that her job didn't let her leave early. I then bought the donut and walked out because although I understand she was really rude, I might be the asshole here because it was the kid's birthday. I'm gonna say no. I mean, I do understand the mom, but also it's not like it was like a 5-year-old, like the kid was 14. And also if somebody says no, like you just leave it. You just leave it alone. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna say no. Yeah, no. Alright, what else is a popular one? This one said that people are saying that they actually are the asshole. Okay, so let's see. It's a little bit different. Am I the asshole for uninviting my stepson from our anniversary trip to Disney World? Alright. My 42 female husband. What? Oh, I'm sorry. And then the person that's writing this is a 42-year-old female, and her husband, which is a 45-year-old male, had a surprise gift to celebrate our first wedding anniversary, a trip to Disney World for the whole family this summer. Our kids are close in age, but have very different personalities. My son, 16, is an extrovert, has a very active social life, and does a lot of activities. My stepson, 17, is an introvert that prefers to stay home and does not have much going on in his life outside of school. They still have a good relationship, even playing video games together sometimes. My son was not on board with the Disney World idea at all. He had no interest in doing this kind of trip with his family, and was specifically upset because it would make him miss his current girlfriend's birthday. He was really angry about the situation, yelling at me multiple times, demanding to stay home instead of going on the trip, and accusing us of ruining his life. Sounds like a 16-year-old. On the other hand, my stepson was really excited about the trip. My husband is used to having a kid with no friends when doing plans like this, so he didn't expect my son's reaction. Damn. Tell us how you really feel. I felt that going just with my stepson would be anticlimactic and wouldn't fulfill the original idea of it being a trip for the whole family. I also didn't want to leave my son fully alone with all the house to himself. We decided to leave them both so my stepson can keep an eye on my son's behavior, while me and my husband have a romantic trip, just the two of us. My stepson is sad because he wanted to go on the trip, but my son is happy with the new plan. My stepson was more intense about his disappointment at first, crying and whining a lot, but he has mostly calmed down by now. I asked my son to try to include his stepbrother a little in his social life while we're out, so he wouldn't be lonely, and he said he would try to. My husband feels bad for his son being sad, but I am convinced this is the best solution for everyone. I'm gonna go with yes. That's so bad. That's so bad. Especially for a kid who you say doesn't have a lot going on in his life, then take him on the trip. I don't know. Also, tell your 16-year-old to suck it up and make him go on the trip. What? Yeah, absolutely hated that one. We'll do one more, and this one, people are also saying this person is in the wrong, so let's see. This one says, am I the asshole for leaving my number on the bill? So I, a 26-year-old male, went out for dinner last night with a few friends. We were at this pretty nice restaurant, and our waitress, female, early 20s, caught my eye as soon as we sat down. I thought she was really cute and had a great sense of style. Her outfit was really unique and just seemed to suit her perfectly. Anyway, throughout the night, she was really friendly and attentive, and I couldn't help but keep noticing her. After a while, I decided to go for it and compliment her on her outfit. I said something like, hey, I just wanted to say that you look really cute tonight and your outfit is amazing. It suits you so well. She seemed to take the compliment well, smiling and thanking me. Later on, as we were finishing up our meal, I decided to write my number on the receipt and leave it for her, just in case she was interested in talking more or even going on a date. When I handed her the receipt, I told her, I hope this isn't too forward, but I've really enjoyed talking to you tonight and thought you might like to get in touch if you're interested. She took the receipt and thanked me, but I noticed her smile seemed a bit forced this time. I figured maybe she wasn't interested, and that was fine. I didn't want to push her or make her feel uncomfortable. After we left the restaurant, my friends told me that what I did was inappropriate and that I shouldn't have put her on the who are just trying to do their job. I genuinely didn't mean any harm, and I thought I was being polite and respectful about it. Yeah, I'm reading the comments right now as I scroll. Yeah, so the thing is I was a waitress myself, right? So your job is to smile at everyone and be attentive and be polite and be pleasant. That's your job. Like, you get in trouble if you don't do that, right? So sometimes people will take that as like, oh, like, was she flirting with me, or was he flirting with me? And it's like, no, that's just their job. And also, you don't want to get hit on while you're working, right? At least I never did. I hated it every time. So I do think, though, that he, like, from reading the way he wrote that, I don't think he meant any harm. Like, I genuinely think it sounds like he thought he was doing the right thing or going about it the right way, but yeah, nobody really does that anymore because it just bothers people. I feel like that was something that happened